Good morning, this is Bob back today with Pennystocking 100 to 1000. Welcome back to the series where we take a fresh account on Webull, starting with just $100, and show you the journey it takes to grow that $100 into $1,000 over time. And we're back. Today is June 11th, 2019. Markets are pretty flat. When we left off the series last time, we were in NEPT. The account, as you can see, is down to $51, which is very, 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 very unfortunate. But we made a couple of poor decisions, or one poor decision, rather, and we're going to get into that later. Talk about a couple things, including risk management. But when we were last in the series, we were holding NEPT over the weekend as it was approaching all-time highs and earnings coming out Wednesday. So what happened on NEPT was it just pretty much, that was the top. The all-time high approaching was just the top. It was a top. It was like a double top, I guess you could say. It found resistance, and then it pretty much reversed back down. And like I said, we were in at 5:07 on that Friday afternoon, and we just got out on Monday in the pre-market 9 o'clock. We got out at 5:14 this year, and I remember this stock. I think it rose to maybe 520, 525ish, something like that, 530 maybe. So not too high, not too much difference. You know, I could have made a few more percent, maybe 3 or 4 more percent gain, but nothing really big. So this was kind of like best case scenario. You can see now it's traded at 460. So it's just pretty much been dropping from then on. I don't know what's going to happen coming into earnings, and I don't really plan to get back into it. So it's not a big deal for me. I don't really care. But, you know, pretty much a neutral, a flat overnight play. Nothing huge. Because I took the sign. This was the pre-market here. I believe this was the pre-market on that Monday. Yeah, so 534 was the high. And that was what, 13,000 shares traded. So not a lot going on, as you can see. And so we got out right here on this candlestick here. It was 512, so right around there. Cause we missed the run up because we were actually asleep. So we missed the run up to 534. But we woke up about 9 o'clock. So we sold that to that candlestick, and then even on the open, it dropped down all the way to the 470s on that first candlestick. So not, I could see that this was pretty much topping out. It wasn't going to be a whole lot of action going on with this, and so I just left that alone. So I didn't fall. Like I said, I was never going to fall in love with the idea of this, being the next big thing. Yes, it had a great catalyst, partnering with Tilray, and, it was coming into earnings and approaching all-time highs. I knew all these were good signs, but at the same time, you have to realize, is this going to be a popular play? All these things could be going well for it, but it doesn't even matter if people are not buying. And they just simply weren't buying. So, like I said, we did not fall in love with that idea. We just went ahead and cut that and took a very, very small profit. And then after we got out of that on Monday, we got into the biggest play of the year. NBY, I think that's called Nova Bay. It ran up 1,000% in a day. Nobody saw this coming. I definitely did not see this coming. If I did, I would not have made only $11 on it. So I pretty much bought a little late, and then I sold into resistance. Late, quote unquote, because I bought it in the low ones, but then of course it runs to $4 the same day. So, but nobody could have called this. It was very unusual. We got in at 9 o'clock in the pre-market at $1.05. I do hesitate to buy these types of stocks because, like I said, I don't have a great track record with stocks under $1. They just don't seem to produce consistent results for me. I don't know, maybe I just trade them poorly, or I get in too high, or I don't know, or they just don't work out for me. But this was trading I can't remember. It was trading in 30 cents area in that pre-market at Monday, and then very quickly ran to 94 cents, or rather over $1 in the pre-market early. And I don't think I was paying attention to this, or like I said, I just don't have a great track record with these kind of stocks, so I just pretty much stayed all out of it for a while until I really saw this thing, show some conviction, show some promising results. And so when it started kind of supporting itself around the $1 area, or around that area relatively, I bought in around here, close to the open at 105, I think it was, or 107, I believe. So we sold pretty early, because you can see this thing was finding resistance, kind of like around here. You can see the top for this was 112, this candlestick here, 112, so, or actually this was 132, but even before that, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I forgot what I was talking about. Okay, so we sold on the open, right, at 931. It was finding resistance around that area. Am I looking at the right day? Because this is kind of weird. Yeah. Okay, so we sold into on the open at 930. It was kind of like finding resistance in a way, and I didn't like the price action, and so I pretty much just sold. I just went ahead and took the win, took a small win, like 9% gain, something like that. It wasn't huge. I figured that was best case scenario in that regard, but of course, and then it actually did, drop back down. Went to 115 and dropped down for a while. For a few candlesticks, it dropped all the way back down, actually to the 80s. So even if I didn't take the profit so early, I still might have, stopped myself out and went ahead. And as soon as it started breaking $1 relatively easy, I might have just gotten faked out there. This is why I say I just don't have a great track record with these types of plays, these really, really cheap plays, because this is what they do a lot of the time for me, in my experience. So like I said, nobody really could have called this. This was very, very bearish. This first movement here, where it started dropping below $1, that was very, very bearish. And I saw signs of topping out right around here, and that's like I said, that's why I went ahead and sold. And remember, this thing was already up, more than triple at that point. So I just went ahead and sold in the ones. I figured I got in a little too late. I sold in the ones. Of course, it shoots all the way up. The strength didn't come in until it actually broke the ones. That's when the strength wanted to come in. So I missed that whole run up. If the strength came in while I initially got in, then I would have been fine to hold it. But when you see that, this is getting pretty long. But when you see that, you need to take cover, because every play is not going to be NBY. It's just not going to be that way. And I think people are getting spoiled by these plays, and I myself actually have gotten spoiled by this one play that I missed out on right here. Missed out on that huge run up. So people see this type of plays and they think every play is going to go up 1,000% in a day. They think every play is the next NBY, and it's just not that true. So that was that, and then I actually got into a play on Tuesday. Against my better judgment, under $1 stocks, and that was SINT. And this is what I kind of want to talk about. This was a huge loss, $95 loss. We lost over 60%. So this was I believe our biggest loss of the series, not dollar-wise, but percent-wise. I don't think we've ever lost more than 60%, in one trade. Even bag holding it for a couple of days, I don't think we've ever lost over 60% in one trade. And we actually sold this in the same day because it just was not doing well. So we got in relatively early. I just wanted to go ahead and jump in. So we got in at 7.21 in the pre-market at 40 cents a share. We sold it close to the close at 14 cents a share. We got stopped out by our stop loss. So, and I don't even do stop losses. I'm trying to get in the habit of doing it because I'm pretty good, as you can see, with like NBY and certain other plays. I'm pretty good at taking my gains, right? So I'm pretty good at taking gains, but I am obviously horrible with cutting losses. Like, I just don't know how to cut losses, apparently. I just hold them overnight and hope that they rebound. If they don't rebound, I just sell them in the pre-market the next day. But essentially, I'm just not good at taking losses. Risk management, if you want to sum it up to a better term. I'm just not good at risk management. So I expect to win most of my plays, and when I do win them, I win small because I go ahead and take the profit quickly. But then when I lose, I lose my shirt off my back. I lose everything. Seems like. So I got to work on that. That's why I'm trying to work on stop loss. This is my first time ever putting in stop loss, and we did get taken out towards the close. Because this had a 52-week range, a 52-week low at 14 cents a share. So as I seen towards the close, when it was getting around here in the 14.50 area, something like that, I was like, yeah, it's getting too close to its 52-week low. Its all-time low. It's approaching all-time lows. That's not a great sign on something that's traded 80 million shares in a day. It's not a great sign. So I didn't want it to crack and break below 14 because after that, the sky's the limit, or the ground is the limit, if you want to call it, because it could easily cave back down to the 10-cent area. And it can still do that. Who knows? Right now, in after hours, is at 15.5 cents. But, who would have knew that it was going to rebound from that? I didn't know that. I didn't trust it. And so I went ahead and put my stop loss in at 14. So if it got to 14, I figured then it could easily crack it and then go under 14. And so I went ahead and wanted to get stopped out of that. So I finally used a stop loss for that. But this is where I got in, right? So on this red side, I wish I was up in the morning to see all of this sooner, see this rise sooner. I would have got in on this huge rise. But then even so, I realized that this huge spike up is not even, it's a few thousand shares really. I didn't take notice of this, but the run up was a huge run up, and it was on fairly low volume, lowish volume. So maybe manipulation, something going on here. Didn't really make sense. So 24K on the first spike here, 75K volume on the second spike, 79K on the next spike, 52K on this spike. So not a huge amount of volume. And what's even more alarming is the low amount of volume it took to actually drop this stock. So on the red candlesticks, 26K volume, 17K, 6K, 44K, 354K, but that was a little bit, that was when it really started to crack. And I actually caught the falling knife. Unfortunately, like I said, I got in at 40 cents. So I caught this back in here, right around this candlestick here. I used these green candlesticks from earlier as a possible support. So I figured it might be able to hold right around here, about 40 cents. Because that's what a lot of these other plays under a dollar have been doing in the pre-market. They go up and then they kind of find support around here, where these two candlesticks meet here. And then that's the next buying zone. And then I have not been acting on those buying zones, and then I've just been missing out. And so I said, you know what? This time I'm actually going to just jump in at support. I'm going to jump in. So this was kind of like support to me in my head, mental support. So I went ahead and bought in. However, I just completely disregarded these candlesticks, completely just dropping, catching the falling knife. Even through the support, you still need to wait for those candlesticks to kind of show you some signs of recovery, right? So I did not wait for that. I just kind of tried to go ahead and get in. I figured, this is probably going to be a good buying entry. Boom, it drops completely. It didn't actually start showing signs of reversal and bottoming out until 19, 20 cents a share. Disregard this tick up here where it seems like it goes up to 64 cents very quickly. I think that's just like a bug or something, some kind of a bug or something. I don't think that actually happened because I was watching it. But yeah, so you need to wait for signs of bottoming out a lot of the time. That's the safer route. It's just like I said, people get spoiled, and I'm guilty of it myself. Get spoiled because of these plays like NBY that just go crazy, and you're thinking that this is gonna be the next one. This is gonna be the next one, and so you just jump in right here where you think is a good entry, and it just is not. Sometimes every play is not gonna do you what NBY has done you. So you have to remember that. So this was a pump and dump. A lot of people lost a lot of money on this stock, especially as this was a play directly after NBY. So even if people made a ton of money on NBY, they came straight here, and they lost all of it pretty much. So, you have to remember that. So I just say all that to say, you need to have better risk management. Really, I'm talking to myself, to be honest. I have to have better risk management. So where I bought in here, and I'm going to work on this, where I bought in here, where I thought was support, if I was going to choose that area, I needed to realize that if it dropped right about here to where this candlestick here, the end of this wick, the low of this wick was 33 cents. I should have used that as like a stop loss prevention. So like if I got in at 40 like I did, I should have used that 33 cents as, okay, this is definitely a bearish move. Let me put my stop loss in at 33 cents so I get stopped out. I eat a 15% loss, but that's a whole lot better than eating a 65% loss like I lost today. So I'm definitely going to start working on stop losses and risk management altogether, because I just don't have good risk management. So hopefully that works out for me. So like I said, I want to just go ahead and get out of this before it started breaking all-time lows. We'll see what happens with it tomorrow, even though it doesn't really matter at this point because I'm already all out. I don't have any more day trades until Friday, so I guess we'll see you then. And like I said, right now the count is down quite a bit, to be honest, and it sucks. We're down to $51, but we can still come back from this. It's not the end of the world. We've learned a lot of lessons through these couple of weeks. So we're going to have to take these lessons and apply them, because I'm still learning. I'm not the best trader. I know that. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to grow, still trying to figure out certain things to help me progress along the way, and which will also help you guys progress along the way. So, we'll see what happens. And I just encourage you all to stay motivated, stay inspired, study hard, and penny stocks will reward you.